So E3 is well underway, and a lot of the big names in the gaming world are releasing a lot of information about new products and games that they will be releasing in the coming months and into next year. Let's take a quick look at what EA has on offer. First up, and probably one of the big ones, is Mass Effect Andromeda. Now graphically it looks quite impressive just from the few quick screens that we've seen here. There's a whole new galaxy to explore, the Andromeda Galaxy, and that'll give players some sense of wonder and awe as we discover new planets and species. Now what's really cool here is the planets seem to be inhabited by indigenous wildlife, and that's actually really exciting. That's something I never felt was quite present in the previous Mass Effect games. Some of the planets actually felt really empty and lifeless, which I kind of guess makes sense in the terms of planets and how many of them are going to be inhabited. The idea that you're going to have these planets with their own ecosystems and actually be able to interact with the flora and fauna is pretty darn cool. It's definitely going to tie into the idea of exploration and discovery that seems to be what's coming across in this kind of trailer that we got from EA. And I think what we've seen here is just a nice little teaser as to what we can expect, and it's no wonder this Asari just looks so happy. Oh, she doesn't anymore. Never mind. Titanfall 2 had 2 trailers from EA, for the campaign and for the multiplayer. The campaign does look kind of cool. I like the idea of having a more single-player, story-driven experience within the Titanfall universe. I think the first game was really good, it just lacked that kind of single-player element. The multiplayer was good, but it did kind of die off quite quickly after launch. There's still people playing it, but not as many as before. So I'm kind of hoping a combination of having a solid campaign with a very cool-looking multiplayer is going to keep people around a bit longer and mean that matches and games are going to have a lot more people to play against. Again, it looks like they're putting a bit of the emphasis on the wildlife and the kind of local ecosystem within the game, which is something that was kind of touched upon in a couple of the missions in the first Titanfall, and this seems to be a running theme from EA. I mean, they did the same thing with Mass Effect Andromeda, so it seems to be something that they're working on, is making these worlds feel bigger and alive, and the idea that you are actually on an alien world by having these really bizarre creatures appear, which is kind of cool. Now, one thing I did notice in the multiplayer, I do like the speed and the action, it looks pretty cool, but is it just me, or have they introduced the hook shot to the game? I wonder what Nintendo have to say about this. My final kind of thoughts are on Battlefield 1, and holy crap, that trailer! I've never been excited for a military shooter before, but this really grabbed my attention. I've never really paid attention to Battlefield. I briefly tried Battlefield 3. It was perfectly fine, but this looks amazing. The whole idea of the World War I setting, it's quite dark, it's gritty, there's just mud, explosions, trenches, it's kind of got that feeling of what World War I was. Obviously it glorifies it a bit, as it would do. It's a game, it's supposed to, but I do think it looks like it captures some of the essence in terms of the technology and the experience as far as you can go within a multiplayer shooter game. Looks like they're trying to nail that down, which is pretty darn cool. The idea of the behemoths is really awesome as well, having these massive zeppelins that you can call in for reinforcements, being able to control and fight over those. That looks superb. The aerial dogfighting looks really fun, really frantic and really fast. And just look at the tanks. We get to drive the first ever military tank. That is so awesome, and I'm really looking forward to that. Also, trains. Yeah, all the best games out there involve trains in some form, and that is just awesome. I get to drive an armoured train. That'll be fun. Shoot the horses! Oh, and there was some Star Wars stuff as well, but no one really cares about that, right? So those are just a couple of initial first impressions on what EA had to announce and had to show off. Obviously there is more, but this is just a very quick look at what those were, and I'm really looking forward to what else is going to come from the other developers and manufacturers as the show goes on. Look out for my Bethesda impressions video later on.